it out. I thought as long as I patched you in, it would work, but apparently it didn't. Hey, so welcome back. This is Dave with Leaving Ring. I'm your host, Dave Duenez with Leaving Ring, and I got Dstyle with me from the Dstyle channel on YouTube. What's up, D?
Chilling, man. Can't wait to get this boxing talk started. That's for sure.
I was trying to I thought I figured out the whole Block Talk thing. So watch, the people that probably tuned in live for Block Talk, they're going to be pissed because I had to end it because I just can't figure it out. It says that we were live, but then it said it couldn't hear us. So whatever the case is, I'm just going to have to throw up the MP3 like I've been doing after we're done here on YouTube. So what am I going to do?
Yeah.
What am I going to say here? You know?
Yeah, not much. That's for sure.
No shit, huh? You know? But, first off, man, hey, welcome to the show. It's like, this is the first time you've been on my channel, right? To talk boxing?
Officially, yes. Like I've called in and stuff before, but this is officially the first time that I'm on, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, pretty much what we're going to do today is we're just going to talk what's really been kind of circulating around in the sport, It's not a whole lot. There's a lot more like high hopes, if anything, in boxing.
Yeah.
Like now Mike Tyson is throwing up. Did you see that his Instagram thing that he threw up of him throwing hands at the hand mitts and the excitement that everybody's getting because, at the end of that sequence of him, like a different angles of him throwing his hands and his movement, which is, you got to admit, at 53, he looks fucking pretty good, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's no argument there that I wouldn't get in the ring with him. At 53, I think the guy's still pretty goddamn.
I'll pass.
Right? I'll pass, dude. But this kind of tells you where the state that we're at in boxing because since, the UFC just had their past weekend fights with no audience, having 1,200 people tested for 300, I mean, not 1,200 tests for the COVID-19 for 300 people, and only 3 people tested positive for it. They had their sport live on pay-per-view. I don't know how well it did. I didn't tune in to watch it. I'm not a UFC guy. It's got to be relevant, or there's got to be something very intriguing for me to tune in, right? But it leaves us boxing fans kind of like hanging at that cliff of hoping, right? Like, just wondering when the sport's going to come back. That it's kind of sad that everybody is jumping up and down, and because there's such lack of content that you got now major sites to major mainstream sites jumping on Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's kind of brilliant. If you really think about this, bro, he picked the right time in a period of this year, of this decade, that he decides to say, I'm back.
Yeah, I mean, he did say the words, I'm back. I don't know to what degree that means. You know what I mean? But this is what I'll say, right? One, it was 15 years ago, bro. Right? I want people to understand, what were you guys doing? Like, stop for a second and ask yourself, what was I doing 15 years ago when Mike Tyson literally said out of his own mouth, this ain't for me anymore. I can't get in with the guys of this level. And he wasn't even facing like a world beater, bro. Right? And he said, this is not for me. I'm done. I'm thinking about my kids, my parents. I'm not that animal anymore. That's what he said. That's out of his mouth 15 years ago. So does he look good hitting them? Dude, it hits 8 punches, right, on the mitts. And people are like, oh my God, I think he could beat Wilder. I think he can get in there right now with Joshua. Joshua's a glass chin. I think Tyson can get him. No, he ain't. He ain't going to get anybody in the top 10. He ain't going to get anybody in the top 15, right? The moment he gets punched in the face by anybody, and I'm not even exaggerating, in the top 50 in the world, okay, he's going to remember why he left the sport to begin with. And that was 15 years ago. I bet you, right, before his final fight, he probably looked good hitting the mitts too,
Right.
He probably looked good hitting the heavy bag. He probably looked good doing all that. But, man, dude's old, bro. He ain't gonna do shit. Okay, not against any legitimate top anywhere. And I'm saying the top 50 and down, he ain't going to beat any of those guys. In fact, he'll get seriously hurt.
I got to agree with you, man. I mean, listen, here's the thing. Even when he lost to Danny Williams, Mike was no longer. I mean, listen, he was physically fit, right? He was still a very vicious puncher, and he was a lot younger, a lot younger.
By the way, Dave,
Yeah,
not to interrupt you, but power's the last thing to go,
it is.
and he
Yeah,
had that in abundance.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it is the last thing to go, but the spirit of a fighter goes first. And Mike's
Yeah.
spirit has long gone and passed, dude, yeah, did he look great throwing those hands on those mitts? Absolutely. I was just like, wow, okay, he's got the speeds there. But we're talking about, and here's this, man, I don't know about you, but I'm watching this, and there's really, after he throws a combination, they cut into another scene, but you kind of see that even with him throwing those hands, that he still kind of falls forward because the balance is really not there yet. So that to me really tells me, I mean, it's just a different ballpark. Okay, when he gets in a guy that's been fighting, gets in with somebody that is a lot younger than them, it's definitely more conditioned. Can Mike withstand over 2 rounds? Can he withstand over 3 rounds? I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
He got in there with Kevin McBride, bro. After 6 rounds, said, "I'm good." Like he had like a light. It wasn't he quit the fight. He quit boxing. You know what I mean? He literally said, I just don't want to do this anymore." He said, "I haven't loved doing this since the '90s, since 1990." I mean, that tells you a lot. So if anyone who actually believes that 15 years later, over the age of 50, he's going to come back and be a force to reckon with, nah. You know what I mean? If he wants to do some, spar some ordinary dudes and beat on them for charity, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
But aside from that, man, I don't think it's a good idea for Mike. And I know you'll bring up a name in a little bit, but he shouldn't be in there with anybody serious at all.
I think let's go into which, because we know this is Mike's comeback. If he comes back, it might be a exhibition. If he comes back, it might be serious about whatever. Mike hasn't really confirmed it. I think he's teasing us with it, But out of the 3 fights right now that people are circulating around, the rumors. Okay, obviously Oscar De La Hoya and McGregor got back into the Twitter news by exchanging some words. Even Dana White, Oscar went after Dana White, called him a bitch, rightfully so.
Deleted the text up.
But you got Mike Tyson and everybody coming out of the woodworks. You even got Tyson Fury's dad, saying, "Hey, I'll fight Mike." Shannon Briggs, "I'll fight Mike in the bare knuckles." Evander Holyfield, jumping at the opportunity to get a 3rd match with Iron Mike, But Iron Mike against any one of those guys, De La Hoya versus McGregor, and even, Floyd Mayweather, which he's confirmed he's not coming back. But if he was to, and possibly, the name that was brought up that was that people were kind of like bouncing off the idea was Adrian the Problem Broner. Adrian, I am a problem to myself, Broner. Out of those three guys named right now, those 3 fights right now, what do you think? If you had to put your money up because of where we're at, the state of the game of where we're at, which one to you is more feasible? Which one is more worthy of your hard-earned blue-collar money, bro?
It's actually not that difficult of a decision for me. I'll take Money Mayweather over Adrian Broner to fight. Broner at the very least in losing efforts, but had recent fights with Manny Pacquiao.
Right.
Went the distance. Got thoroughly beat, but he still went the distance with Pacquiao. He's gone the distance. Look at Mikey Garcia again, another fight he lost, a draw with Jesse Vargas. So he's active. And there's a storyline there with Floyd and Broner. There's a background story. It's now, don't get me wrong, I'm basing this off of the options, but that's definitely the fight I would prefer to see. I think it would be, like I'm telling you right now, man, I don't know what would break first for Broner, his heart or his will, but we would find out if he fought Floyd.
I tell you what, AJ 10, Mayweather versus Broner would be the boxing match. The others are sideshows. I got to agree with you. But I'm going to tell you this, AJ, Dstyle, the Broner and Mayweather conferences would be they would steal the show. you want to talk about some trash talking, and I think a lot of shit that's behind the scenes that has kind of really been eating at Broner, because Broner's been in the shadow for a very long time. I mean, this guy was considered the next Floyd Mayweather at one time, and he's been like edging to I put Floyd on blast. Remember when he was like at that point? He was at that like meltdown where he started talking about Big Brother. He started like letting his mouth go, but then Big Brother got a hold of him and was like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing here, man?"
Yeah.
I think this is what really kind of pushes everything over the edge for Broner if they were to fight, because all the juicy shit that we all want to know about would come out like free and clear out of Broner's mouth, man.
I'll say this: I know who would get the upper hand, not only in the fight but also in the press conferences, because there's a lot of things, a lot of praise that Broner has given to Floyd Mayweather, bro. Like over the top praise.
Yeah.
And when you praise another man like that over the top, over and over again, man, they'll have something over you for life. And I think Floyd will just rub that in. Like, remember, I was your idol. I never thought shit about you.
Bro.
Like, what I mean? So it would hurt. I think that's what I'm saying. I don't know what would fall first for Broner, his heart or his spirit.
I think it's already have fallen. I think we've seen that from Broner. I mean, the envy is obvious, man. When it comes to Floyd, for Floyd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think you're right. I think Floyd would cut deep by reminding him, like, "Hey, dude, you wanted to be like Mike. You wanted to be like Money. It was never the other way around, man." But I would just to see them go at it verbally. I think that would be a sparring match within itself, versus where Conor McGregor and De La Hoya would be a shit show, a sideshow, whatever you kind of show you want to call it. But I think that you're going to probably have some real, like, I don't think Oscar's going to hold back. And, I find it hard to believe that Oscar would shake off that ring rust and be completely ready for Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, regardless of anything, he's going to be very physical. And he's a big guy, But I think that it's going to be leather thrown for the least whatever duration it lasts, is 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Bro,
this is what I'll say. Okay. Floyd Mayweather is a little dude. Okay. Conor McGregor, if he was a boxer, right, this dude would be like a middleweight, right? Mayweather walked this guy down. Yeah. Right, Mayweather didn't fight us. He literally just put his mitts up and walked him down, and was at times even laughing while he was doing it. And I honest to God believe he carried Conor McGregor. What a coincidence that once he overhit, right, for the fight or the over under, all of a sudden he picked up the pace and got him out of there. But put that aside, De La Hoya is a different type of fighter than a Mayweather. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, even though he's old and all that, if he gets in semi-decent shape, once he lands that left hook, bro, he'll knock Conor McGregor out. There's no doubt in my mind. I understand where Austria was coming from. One thing I will say, though, I wish Austria would just drop it. Like, why are you talking about UFC? Why are you talking about that Dana doesn't pay UFC fighters good? Who cares? So, you know what I mean? I'm a boxing fan that, like, if they don't pay the MMA fighters good. I want boxers to be the highest paid fighters, not MMA fighters. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand what that's about. He has this beef with Dana.
A promoter. I mean, listen. That's what a promoter does. If you want to stay relevant, you tack on to somebody that's doing, well. I mean, let's think about it. Dana White move is a sleazeball move by putting lives at risk and these athletes at risk. And, showing the greediness that the UFC and his company has. But he did it. And boxing is at a standstill. So Oscar attaching himself to still, look how many UFC fans, these Dana protectors came out and attacked De La Hoya on his Twitter. Right. So Oscar obviously did exactly what he was looking to do, which was strike some sparks to his, to what was going on, so that his name was attached to it. The job was done successfully. That's what a promoters should do. Bob Arum has done it. Don Keene has done it. Everybody's done it except for Al Heyman. Al Heyman doesn't talk to the press, but I think he did. I have no problem with it. Honestly, I don't have a problem with it. I think my only problem is that if you're going to talk about another sport, another promoter, you need to fit the bill into getting us good fights. And it's not to say that Oscar hasn't done that, but you got to follow suit on to, if you're going to attack somebody else of lacking giving them money or whatever the case is that you're attacking them for, you better be on point, because the one thing that fans do they are very particular, and they look at every little underline that is out there so that they can jump on you on Twitter, because Twitter is such a free-based place to attack you now, What's up, G-Funk? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to G Funky. Look, I mean, I agree. It's good for promotion, but he did delete that tweet that he put out to Dana. So I'm one of those guys that if you're gonna go for it, then go for it. Like, don't go halfway on me. Like, don't make me go, damn, you got him, and then you delete the tweet.
Yeah, definitely.
Like at least go all the way. Maybe I was just thinking about other stuff. Like, I don't know if the zone wants me to be talking like this. So. So I understand all that, but at the end of the day, he gave his opinion. He doesn't think Conor could go many rounds with him, but I just feel like it's an unnecessary thing, really. Like, I'd rather Oscar spend his energy talking about some guys under his banner, man, like Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, a lot of great fighters he could be talking about. Like, I'd rather him say Conor can't go 2 rounds with Virgil Ortiz. You know what I mean? And that could get people talking about Virgil Ortiz. Instead of getting himself over, you're retired, bro. You know what I mean? And that's just what I think.
That limelight, I bet you that's just so hard to kind of shake off, you know what I mean? And, Dana White's never even stepped in the ring or the octagon. I mean, he's wrestled maybe, and his family hadn't owned a boxing gym, but to say that he's a legitimate fighter, or to say he knows what fighters go through, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know about you. I would fucking X out Conor McGregor. I would rather see Oscar De La Hoya versus Dana White.
Yeah.
Well,
we already know how they feel about that, bro. He called out Dana to a boxing fight. Mm-hmm. I thought he was serious, because Dana was, he's been telling everybody for years he was a boxer, bro. Okay.
Right.
Is it like, oh yeah, I used to be in boxing. I was a tough guy from Boston. You know what I mean? I grew up in the streets. I used to be a boxer. He used to tell people that.
Right.
So Oscar was like, hey, you're a lot bigger than me. Let's do it then.
Right.
And then he challenged De La Hoya to an MMA fight all of a sudden. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I get it. There's still those competitive juices or whatever that De La Hoya wants to, that he can't let go of. But at the end of the day, he is a promoter now, though. You know what I mean? It's just time to put the limelight on your fighters. There's ways to do it. It's just my opinion. Like, for example, if he wants to talk about money like that, then tell these MMA fighters, okay? Like, it won't happen, but we're talking about promotion, right? Hey, so that dude you just paid like $50,000 or $4,000, since you think MMA is better, why don't we get him in the ring with one of my prospects, Virgil Ortiz? See if he can last 3 rounds with him or something like that. And that'll get his fighter's name out there, and it'll get the same reaction, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's just like every promoter. They don't want to help each other out, They just don't want to do that. They don't want to give another entity a boost. So I don't ever see that happening, I rather, like I said, play with the fantasy of Dana White and Oscar. I mean, just think about it. Just imagine that, them getting in there and Oscar letting one of those left hooks go and landing on Dana, and just seeing what Dana's really made out of. Because if anything, that's what the ring, or even the.
Bro, I don't think we have to wait on the hook. Once he lands a jab, bro, De La Hoya has a good jab. Once he lands a jab he might not even need the jab, but it's just to see, like, just land the jab and see what happens with Dana. Because, dude, I remember Dana, bro, was challenging UFC fighters to boxing fights.
Tito Ortiz, remember that?
Yeah, he wanted to fight him in a boxing fight.
Yeah.
And he was telling everybody, I used to beat up Tito Ortiz all the time. I was the boxer. Okay, if you were a boxer, I don't see, and you're talking the way you're talking, I don't see what the problem is, Dana, at all.
No.
You know what I mean? But he won't fight. He won't box Oscar, though. Like, he knows he can't box Oscar De La Hoya.
You know the thing about Dana, though, man, if you look at his face, right, isn't me, bro, but is he always like, his face is always like swollen. Like he used to be a fighter. Like his face is met the mat numerous times out of his life, but he's never done that. You know, I mean, look, you're playing around in the octagon or even in the ring is, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't compare to what Oscar, especially Oscar De La Hoya, even Conor McGregor, what they have done, or like a Tito Ortiz, what they've done in their career. These guys are legends in their own right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
AJ says, you know, Dana would only agree to make it in the octagon. Yeah. But I don't even know how well he would do in the octagon. I really don't. I mean, I think he'll get Oscar down on his back, but I think that Oscar's hand speed still, I think at Oscar, well, how old is Oscar? Like 46? I think he's like my age, right? 46, 47, maybe even 48 or something like that. I think Oscar's hand speed would
He's about 4 years older than Mayweather. How old is Mayweather?
I don't know, man. I think Floyd's like 41 or 42, maybe.
Okay.
Somebody in their chat room tell us, you know?
Yeah.
Nopal says, what do you say here? I think De La Hoya already kind of took McGregor. He wasn't challenging him, which is weird because that would be a massive payday for both. It would be a massive payday, but I think people would. I think people would buy into it because of the fact of where we're at. But if this was a year ago or a year after what's going on in the world right now, Dstyle, I think everybody would be like, this is a sideshow. But I think that this is so bad right now of what's going on. I think that we take it in a heartbeat because I think that it's only going to last 2 or 3 rounds, whether it's in the octagon or it's in the boxing ring.
Here's what I'll say. So I understand it will be a good payday, but it's not like Oscar's hurting for money, and neither is McGregor. And for McGregor's side, like I could see.
I lost you. What'd you say?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Now,
look.
For McGregor, what?
So basically, for McGregor, I could see in his side, I have nothing to lose. If he loses, he could just do what all the MMA guys always do. But it wasn't a real fight. It was just boxing. If it was in the octagon, I would have beat him. And you know, he can always say that I'm not even the boxer, and I was there for 4 rounds against him or whatever, right?
Right.
So it's really a win. And for Oscar De La Hoya, what does he have to gain? He has nothing to gain. Like, you know, if he knocks out McGregor, well, you were supposed to do that. You said he would do that, first of all. You say you don't respect his skills at all, so you were supposed to knock him out. And if he struggles with McGregor, or even if he loses, what would that do to his reputation? I don't see an upside at all for an old Oscar De La Hoya to do this, to be honest.
I don't think so. I mean, he's probably gaining 15, 20, maybe even 25%. The company itself off of Canelo, and the Canelo deal and the separate deal that they have with DAZN. You know, of course, everybody wants a little bit more on top of the cake, right? You know, but I agree with you. I don't think he needs the money, and I think it's a bigger fight for Conor McGregor to fight somebody that's active, like Manny Pacquiao. That's a big fight, you know. But I honestly, if I want to see Conor McGregor back, I want to see him against, you know, Masvidal, somebody like that, you know, somebody that really is. There's a reasoning behind it, you know. Conor McGregor, you know, trying to fight, you know, Oscar De La Hoya, who's not an active fighter. He's 47 years old. We were just told right now in the chat room. Yeah, 47 years old, who's now a full-time promoter. It doesn't do anything for his resume. What does it do in terms of when Oscar De La Hoya fought like Gennaro Hernandez, or like Julio Cesar Chavez. These were older warriors on their way out already. Mm-hmm. You know, that made sense. With Conor McGregor fighting Oscar De La Hoya makes absolutely no sense, except for what would go into the bank. Excuse me.
Well, I'll tell you what. A lot of MMA fans want these matchups because they have nothing to lose in these matchups. Okay, if they lose, well, we're supposed to lose, but your guys can't come to the octagon, though. We'll destroy you there. Right?
That's their new argument now.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. But they keep wanting to box these fighters. Masvidal was calling out Canelo. I mean, that's a mismatch in a boxing fight. You know, but he's got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Like, what if they start the fight and Canelo pulls a muscle or something, or you know what I mean? Right. Just some freak accident happens and he wins the fight or something. Like, they got nothing to lose. That's why they want to engage in these boxing fights, and I find that interesting. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I wish boxing would just focus on boxing. I don't really like boxers calling out McGregor and all that personally. It makes them look a little too thirsty for my liking. You know, call out the boxers and go from there. And shout out to Floyd. I'll give Floyd credit for saying the following. He said, yeah, he's done fighting boxers, right? Any fight he does, it will be a quote-unquote entertainment type fight, like with Conor McGregor, right? Because he's basically admitting, like, I don't want to fight boxers anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done training to fight boxers. If I fight, I'm just going to box MMA dudes. You know, like, he's admitting it's just for entertainment purposes.
Let's be real. As a promoter, Oscar takes shots from everywhere. So the win at 47 would be... I don't see what happened. I can't read the rest of it because... All right, let me put it up there. Okay. Oscar takes shots from everywhere. So a win at 47 would be an improvement for his reputation. I don't know how it's that. What do you mean? Improvement for his reputation. You know, I would rather see him.
Well, I think a win at 47. I believe. I don't want to put words in Nopal's mouth here, but I believe, and you can confirm. I think he's talking about the pantyhose and all that stuff.
Oh,
so it'll take attention out of that.
Repair that.
And they'll just. I think people will forget about that and be like, damn, and remember the fighter. Because a lot of people, bro, have forgotten the fighter, Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I mean?
Oscar's always gotten flack, though, even from before any of that. You know what I mean? I remember, you know, Oscar beating everybody from Ruiz, Gotti, you know, Corte, all these guys. And the credit was never there. You know, I remember going to a family get-together to watch Bad Blood, Oscar De La Hoya versus Fernando Vargas. And I was the only De La Hoya fan there, and everybody else was a Vargas fan. You know, there's always been an underlying hatred for Oscar De La Hoya. You know, he is not Mexican enough, and he's not American enough. If anybody wants to talk about the struggle of being a Mexican-American, I think this kid has every right to talk about how never being accepted from both sides. Because one, he was either too pretty, too good, and he had everything too easy, supposedly too easy. Especially too easy as a fighter. It's always kind of like sparked up my antenna, like, too easy as a fucking fighter. You imagine that, getting punched in the goddamn face for a living.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm kind of in line with you. So a lot of my cousins and, you know, the younger generation really like De La Hoya. But my uncles hated De La Hoya, right? A lot of my older cousins as well. And they never admitted it, but it's because he beat Chavez. That's what it was. Like, you know what I mean? I think it stemmed from that. But even before that, I remember he was winning, like, the WBO belts. You know, so they wouldn't give him, like, any credit because he didn't beat any of the real champions. And I remember thinking to myself, he's just a kid. Like, he literally, he just has, like, 14 fights. Like, and you want him to fight, like the world right now. And I remember, and he beat Renato Hernandez. Was a good win.
Oh, bro, it was phenomenal. It was a great win.
He dominated. Dude, he beat him better than Floyd did, bro.
Yeah.
And nobody ever mentions that. You know what I mean? And he was devastating. Now, did he stay there long? No, but at the end of the day, he put in the sacrifice and he made the weight. I don't care. Oh, he was too big. He made the weight, right? And a lot of guys are doing that now anyway. But He moved up to 140. I think he was a natural 147 pounder at some point. I think that was his best weight, and he did great, dude. Like, and he had controversial fights, but he was fighting everybody. That's what happens when you fight everybody. It's gonna be controversial fights, and I knew a lot of Mexicans, bro, that gave him no credit for taking all those chances, and every single fight they said De La Hoya lost. They would never give him anything, and it all came down to this Fernando Vargas fight, because they were giving Vargas all this credit,
all the credit when he hadn't done,
he hadn't done anything close to what De La Hoya had done. Okay, and I liked Vargas, I really did, man. I was excited when he was on the come up. I think they put him in there with Trinidad a little too soon, but anyway. It was my cousin's quinceañera, right? And everyone, including my grandfather, snuck out, and we went to my cousin's house to watch that fight. It was divided, bro. Half of that house was all Vargas. Half of that fight was De La Hoya. I remember the first round, the Vargas fans wouldn't shut up.
They're like Vargas. They were just like Vargas. You wouldn't shut up, dude.
The rounds were a little topsy-turvy, bro. And I'll tell you, when he knocked him down with that left hook, it was beautiful. And then he stopped him. And De La Hoya was one of the best finishers in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
He was going to end the fight right there. And I remember half of that. They swore it was stopped early. Like, the fix was in. They stopped it early, But the best part was the following, dude. I don't know if you were on the same boat, but I was waiting for Vargas to tell us why he hated De La Hoya so much, because he said, I'm not going to tell anybody, but once I beat him, I'm going to tell everybody why I don't like him. Dude, is it true that it was because he fell down or something like that and De La Hoya laughed?
He fell down. He found out. Listen.
I would have loved too.
Who's to say that really happened?
Right.
I'd like to ask Fernando Vargas that. Like, he pushed you. No, he didn't push him. Oscar didn't push. They're running down up on the track in Big Bear. Fernando Vargas slips, rolls down the hill, and he says that he witnesses with his own eyes Oscar De La Hoya jogging by and laughing. Didn't stop to see whether or not he was okay. But
what is he, your mother?
Dude, I mean, hey, let me tell you this. That actually sounds like a real story that a Chicano would do, because if I saw you, Dstyle, slip and roll down a goddamn hill, my first reaction is I'm going to laugh first. And if I'm not really cool with you, I'm going to keep jogging like I don't even know you. It's like that old saying, like George Lopez said. He's like, fucking Chicanos, this is the way we are. We see somebody going to roll in and back into a vehicle, right? The white guy is going to go like, hey, go, hey, and he's going to flag you down. He's going to run and go, oh, you totally almost just hit this vehicle. Us Mexicans, we're different. We're just different. We're the ones who are like, hey,
did it happen?
Hey, look, get out here. Look what's going to happen, bro. Look, bro, look what's going to happen. We don't prevent the accident. So what was Fernando Vargas? Fernando Vargas is supposed to be the epitome of Chicano. That's what he stamps himself, Aztec warrior. What are you crying about them, bro?
Los Aztecas no lloraban, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Bro, I couldn't believe when I heard that story, bro. That's it? I thought De La Hoya did something horrible to him or something.
No, I thought the other story is that Fernando was they both ended up at some like hall in Big Bear, and Fernando was getting all the attention, but then pretty boy Oscar walks in and steals all of his light, and there was just that overall jealousy, which I believe too. I believe that got underneath the skin of Fernando Vargas. That this guy who was an Olympian, getting all the press, everything was surrounding him. But that's to me, that should have fueled him. That should have fed him a better fuel of training harder and wanting to be better than Oscar De La Hoya, which he decided to test positive for steroids in their fight.
Yeah, he wanted that win bad. he wanted to win bad, but in the end, though, that was a great fight. But it was a very satisfying, like Jim Lampley said right after the fight, the most satisfying victory probably was.
It was great. It was great.
That was something.
Yeah, bro. I still watch that fight. At least I'm not gonna see. I'm not even bullshitting. I watched that fight maybe 4 or 5 times out of every year. That's one of my fights. I have to sit down, crack open a few beers, and just watch it, and not watch just the fight. I have to watch like the conference, the buildup to that fight, because I think that a lot of times boxing, even right now, the narratives are not as in depth of what we should be getting to get us excited. Like the promoters are really not promoting. They don't really have the PR teams that they need to get these stories out. Or maybe it's because it's so easy now. It's like right in the touch of our hands that we overlook some of the backstories of these guys, that there's some real level of hatred between some fighters. There's some really real life grudges between a lot of these fighters, but we're not tackling them. There's a lot of media guys, they're not looking at that because they're being they're looking for other shit to get these quick clicks. They're not looking for real stories, is what I'm trying to say. They're not looking for these real meaty stories at all. They're looking for quick clicks.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I've seen a lot of that, but in the end, what I want to know, how bad was his fall? Like, I need to know. He's making it sound like he fell off Niagara Falls, and the lawyer was like, ha ha, oh yeah, I could understand you hating the dude if you survived that fall, but it couldn't have been that bad of a fall. What was he supposed to do? Like pull out a first aid kit or something?
I heard this is what I heard. I heard he fell, he was rolling, and what he heard that caught his attention was this from Oscar. I got the sound bite of Oscar.
Sure.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Hold on, man. My landscapers are here. Let me go to that door.
Sure.
Great timing.
Yeah, that's right. Look at this. Live and uncut, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you call this. Right? Look at that background.
All right, so Andy Ruiz is back. He got with Eddie Reynoso, who is the head trainer to Saul Canelo Alvarez. How do you feel about it? How do I feel about it? How does everybody feel about it that's tuning in? I got to tell you this, man. I don't think it makes a huge difference, to tell you the truth. I know Eddie Reynoso, he's got the big stamp right now as a great trainer because what he's done and accomplished with Canelo Alvarez, working with Canelo Alvarez throughout all these years, definitely has improved and helped Canelo's punching power, his movement, his counterpunching, his head movement. Everything that we've seen of late of Canelo, we got to contribute to Eddie Reynoso. But Andy Ruiz himself is a sensation. Okay, anybody in Southern California, in the gym circuits, anywhere you go, any media person you talk to that's been covering the sport for the past 15, 20 years are going to tell you Andy Ruiz has always been a very, very good fighter. He's very special. It's Andy Ruiz who is against himself. He's been around the circuit. He's been around the block. I don't know what Eddie can do. The only person that I could see that's going to contribute by getting better is Andy Ruiz.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. So, do I see Andy getting motivated here and maybe for a fight or two, doing his thing? It wouldn't be the first time he's done that, so I could see that. The question is, can we get Andy Ruiz, to continue being disciplined, continue training for a long period of time? History shows us that the odds are probably not. I hope I'm wrong, because I'm a big, big fan of Andy Ruiz. But
same here.
Man, Eddie Reynoso ain't gonna babysit this dude. Like he's not gonna does he think Canelo's gonna show up to his doorstep and knock on the door like, hey, vamos a entrenar? Does he think that's gonna happen? And I have another question for you, David. Why did he announce that he's joining Team Canelo? Like, when have you seen a fighter get with a trainer and say they're joining the team of that fighter? Maybe, I don't know, but maybe you have an example for me. I've never seen that before. That was a little too fanboyish to me. And it tells me a lot about his motives here. Are you going with Reynoso because you think he's the right fit for you and you're going to mesh well and he's going to be a good trainer for you? Or are you going because you just think, well, he's with Canelo, so it's all going to work out? Are you doing it because you want to train with Canelo? I'm kind of confused about that.
That's a good question. I don't know, man. Here's my thought with that too, is like you just mentioned right now, is Eddie Reynoso going to put up with the slacking that Andy Ruiz tends to bring? What every camp that he's went to have complained about. Is Eddie Reynoso going to be Captain Save-A-Ho? I don't think he is. Does Eddie Reynoso need the money to babysit? As hungry as Andy Ruiz's last trainer was, that was a guy that was putting some real dedication behind Andy Ruiz, that was really putting in the work. What exactly do you think Andy Ruiz is going to do for, Eddie Reynoso going to do for Andy Ruiz? I don't know. I don't know anything, because everything that I've seen that Eddie Reynoso has done for Canelo has been through a drawn out time period. It's not an overnight process. Even with Ryan Garcia, everybody's like, "Oh man, I see so much improvement." How are you seeing that with 1 or 2 rounds with Ryan Garcia? If anything, we have seen Ryan being matched good by his matchmaker, by Golden Boy. They've been doing their job, their part. They have a much better further understanding of how to matchmake, where Al Heyman and PBC, it took them a minute to figure out how to make their guys, where they're still having problems doing, which is phenomenal for us fight fans to see, because we end up getting upsets after upsets. I said this a couple months back. I said PBC tend to continue to give us the best mismatches or upsets in the game so far, which you can't be mad about. Going back with Eddie Reynoso, I just don't see what Eddie can do for him. And Eddie, to me, is not a hungry trainer that really needs, Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz needed that clout by saying, "Hey, Team Canelo," rather than being, "Hey, I just got me a new trainer, Eddie Reynoso."
I mean, what I want to know is, what was it like a question I would like to ask Andy, or if anybody's ever asked him, what is it, that Robles didn't do? Like, well, you know what I mean? Like, we know what he did do. Well, what didn't he do that, you got rid of him? Exactly.
What did he do? That's a good question.
It's just like, why'd you get rid of him? It's like a bizarre kind of, and what is it that Reynoso could do that Robles didn't do?
I think it was his dad, though.
I'm confused about that.
I think Ruiz's dad had more
okay,
behind that than Andy Ruiz himself. I think his dad is like our president right now. They need to blame somebody else rather than blaming the source, which is themselves. I think that's where it's at. And Andy,
that might win you elections, but it's not going to win you a fight.
Exactly.
So
it's going to win him. It won him clicks. It won him attention. But is it going to win him fights? I think it's going to win him maybe the first, second fight. But I think that what happens after that is it's quickly, we may see Andy Ruiz go back to being Andy Ruiz. Man,
let me tell you, if this doesn't work out, bro, it's going to be a bad look for Ruiz. I don't know who will. Trainers might do like a 1-fight, deal with him or something, because I just don't like. Trainers don't want to be babysitters, bro. Like, they don't want to show up, and the only guy I remember really going out of his way was Henry. What was his name? Trainer of Areola.
Henry Ramirez.
Ramirez, yeah. He would be knocking on Areola's door. Hey, come on, man. You got to get out, bro. We got to go training. And he wouldn't open the door. That's the only dude I could remember that's was dedicated. You know what I mean? But I don't see Reynoso.
Even Henry, dude, was at a point where he's like, listen.
Yeah.
Chris is Chris. I mean, I'm not going to be chasing him down. If he's not going to show up, he's not going to show up and stuff, And, hey, man, everybody's making fun about the landscape. I got to support my people too,
I like how G-Fuck, it was like, I have landscapers too, but I do my own grass, though. Like that gives you extra Mexican points or something.
I got two. Hey, listen, I got 2 kids, that 21 and 18. And I had them let me tell you this, bro. This is how we know our generation is fucking doomed, okay? I had both my boys do my landscaping one time, and just to line up the grass. It was crookeder than my dick, bro. It was like all over the place. You had one spot bald. You had another spot full of fucking, weeds still. I mean, and then they blow the leaves, but they don't pick them up. So that's when I was like, I'm done. I work all freaking day. I told the wife, listen, I work all day. I'm not going to take a day out of my weekend, especially if there's fights or whatever, and do the landscaping. Like, I think I've earned the right to pay somebody else. And, luckily I found this one guy. He does a phenomenal job, man. I mean, this guy, rain or shine. I mean, because, I used to do landscaping back in the days when I was a kid. I used to work for this company, right? And, bro, when it rained, we didn't work. This guy, it's just fucking lightning and everything. And this homeboy is out there still mowing and blowing.
There you go.
Yeah, he's still blowing. And if he's not blowing it, he's sweeping it up old school way. I'm not complaining.
I like, this was a long time, real quick. I remember me and my dad, I was just a kid. There was a lot of weeds in the front. And this guy shows up. He said, "Oh, le puedo limpiar, like, can I clean? Let me clean your yard, like $10." And I looked at the yard, like $10. God, this guy's like, "Yeah, no, look, let me show you." And then he started doing it.
Yeah.
So, quiere que se lo haga? And you want me to do it? He's already like almost like a quarter done, like showing us how he cuts weeds and stuff. My dad was like, "Well, you already got started." So I get, yeah, sure. I'll give you 20. But yeah, man, a lot of people out there, doing their thing. Yeah. She fucking taking a job mowing his lawn, bro.
I know.
Let somebody mow your lawn.
Get a trip how green my grass is. I'll tell you a quick little story. One time, I'm at the nursery picking up some like sod and all that for my yard, and this viejito comes up, dude, and he goes, "Señora, ¿tiene trabajo?" And I was like, "No, ahorita no tengo nada para, I have no work. I'm sorry, guys, if you don't speak Spanish. Right. I don't have no work and all that. But here, man, I pulled out money, and I was giving him, and the man got, se enojó el señor, like the man got mad, bro. He goes, "No, yo no quiero nada. Yo no quiero tu neto. Yo quiero trabajar." Like, he goes, "I don't want your money." I mean, he took it offensive, bro. I mean, he was pissed. Like, this guy was ready to, De La Hoya me for a, short minute, man. And he goes, no, I want to work. If you got work, I'll take the work. I'm not a charity, he told me in Spanish. And I was like, no, I didn't mean to offend you. That's not what I meant. I said, here, man, just take it because I have no work to give you, but I do got a few dollars that I can give you to help you out. Get some water, whatever. And the man took a breather, bro, and he was like, "Oh, okay. Well, go on, pues, dámelo." And he took it. But it just shows you, where we at as a people, how we are, man. We don't like hand-me-downs. We like to work our asses off. But anyways, talking about no hand-me-downs and making comebacks, we got three guys. We got Lucas Matthysse, Marcos Miadana, Chino Miadana, and Evander Holyfield. These guys are talking about a comeback. Who's got a greater success, guys? Who's got a greater success, Dstyle, of having a comeback if they step back into that ring?
Well, okay, let's take Holyfield out of there. Holyfield needs to go, bro, okay? As the two Argentine dudes, look, man, if I know Maidana had, like, I saw some footage of him training, and then he literally said, "Yeah, I don't want to do this." You know what I mean? So Matthysse was fighting a little more. He did get knocked out by Manny Pacquiao,
and Victor Postal.
Probably him. Yeah, probably him. You know what I mean? But who I would like to see back is Maidana, bro. Like, I was a big fan of Maidana.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him back. You know what I mean?
I'd like to see Maidana back. But Maidana right now, he looks like he ate the goddamn heavy bag, man. Every time I see him. It looks
like he ate Maidana. Like, you know what I mean? It's like another dude that ate him. Like,
he's living the life, though. I got to give it to him, man. He made his money fighting Floyd, made his money fighting Broner. He's made his money by entertaining and just bringing this cult following of fans, to him. I mean, he's really become a phenomenon in his right. Because, like you and myself, I like Chino a lot. I remember when Chino came down to San Jose, California, the HP Pavilion, to fight Robert Guerrero. They were going to fight before the fight was called off. I can't remember why. Oh, because Robert got hurt in sparring. And that was going to be a great fight. I think it was like at 135 or 140 at the time. No, 140. And
Go fight.
Yeah, I was like so excited about that. And from when he came from there, and he was unknown. I mean, he had just beat Victor Ortiz, but he still was not a very, like, you know what I mean? He still wasn't a very known guy, Right. He lost to Amir Khan. so he was still kind of edging, but people were still fascinated with him. From coming from that to where he's at now, where even like posting a picture of him smoking a cigar with an open shirt with his panza all hanging out, fans still get a big smile. Watch, I've seen this guy living the dream,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Maidana was fun to watch. The first time I ever saw him fight was when he, got Victor Ortiz's soul, like literally out of his body and kept it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just broke that kid's will that day. You know what I mean? Because Victor Ortiz was putting on him. You saw the difference in class early. Victor Ortiz naturally looked at the better fighter, but sometimes boxing it comes. There's more to it than that, and will's a real thing. And Maidana just beat the will out of him, and that day I was a fan. I was like, that's what I like in fighters. I like guys that, even when you're like outclassing me, it ain't over yet because I got something else for you. And we saw that a lot throughout his career.
Oh, yeah.
Even the Khan fight, I mean, Khan got out of that fight by the skin of his teeth because Maidana didn't stop coming.
No.
People forget Maidana got dropped with a body shot, I believe, in the first round. Most guys would have just stayed down. He got back up. So
it was on point. It was right on the solar plexus. You would think that, most guys would have honestly have been different. Because when you get dropped like that and you get the wind knocked out of you, it takes a few rounds for you to kind of regain your composure, get your legs back underneath you. But Chino is just a different breed. This is a guy that comes from a country where, you have to fight for everything you're going to eat. And this guy fought exactly that way at that time against Amir Khan. Out of those three guys, you said Lucas Matthysse. I'm not sure. Lucas has still got that eye, man, that kind of troubles me because – Victor Postol is not known as a knockout artist. He's just got a phenomenal jab. It hasn't been there of late, but that's what hurt Lucas Matthysse. It's interesting, but if I was a gambling man and I was there betting on Evander Holyfield, Lucas Matthysse, and Chino Maidana, I'm going to go with Chino Maidana. I think that if he was to make a comeback, he does a much better comeback than he would against Evander Holyfield, which I don't think Evander will come back for the amount of money that would be. I think Evander's going to outprice himself, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? Just way outprice himself. And at his age and the range where he's at, when was the last time that Evander fought?
Yeah, like it's been a long time. Plus he's old, bro. The dude's been old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, old people look at him and say, dude, you're old. Like, like at this point. Evander, I don't know about Evander, bro, or Tyson, by the way. But I guess my only thing with Maidana is how much weight and how long he's been out. You know what I mean? But, I'd still be excited if he came back, though.
I would, too. And I know that, like, Lucas Matthysse and Maidana, that was a dream fight for a lot of us hardcore boxing fans. We wanted to see
should have happened.
Guys. It should have happened, but they both were interested because they fought each other 4 times in the amateurs, so they felt like it was like there was no unfinished business. In their opinion, that sucks for us because we're like, unfinished. We didn't get to see these fights, And we all know the amateurs and the pros are completely different. There's no headgear. The gloves are going to be a different size. There's going to be a lot of blood being flown across the ring, right?
Yeah, and dude, a stadium in Argentina. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they could have done something with that fight.
Oh, they could have done it. Yeah. How far and gone and past is that fight? I'm not sure. I think they could still make it happen if they both were serious about making a comeback and they do a slight buzz. They look half decent. Dstyle, I think that fight can still measure up of doing something fairly pretty good. I mean, look, if we were able to get guys that we thought they were done and over the hill, Gotti and Ward, why couldn't we get Maidana versus Matthysse?
That could be this generation's Gotti Ward. Like, it can. Although I think they're a bit. That's it's never too late. Look, Vargas fought Mayorga when they were both like way past it. Like, you know what I mean? So, and it wasn't that bad of a fight, so it could definitely happen.
Oh yeah, I would love to see it. I would be right there. Even at the weight of whatever they decide, if they can even make a catch weight, like reach a catch weight, 154. If Maidana can't get past down 160 and Lucas can only make 147, but can make 154, if they're willing to make that happen, I would be willing to be. I'm not a catch weight guy. I don't like catch weights, but I would go for that. I don't know about you. I would be like, okay, I'm cool with that. Let's make that happen. That's feasible.
I don't mind if it's to make this fight happen and it's not for the title. Why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
So we saw that Steven Espinoza, the director of Showtime Sports, mentioned on his Twitter that Leo Santa Cruz and Gervonta Tank Davis, strong possibility it's going to happen before the 8-year ends here on pay-per-view Showtime. What do you think? I got 3 questions. Is it pay-per-view worthy, Dstyle? How can Leo Santa Cruz withstand the power of Tank if it can make weight? And can the Tank withstand the output, the workmanship of Leo Santa Cruz?
Yeah. Here's what I'll say, man. First, the pay-per-view. Is it pay-per-view worthy? In my opinion, no. You know what I mean? I've always been the belief that you should never really have your first pay-per-view fight against someone that's never really been on pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like, even if you go back, like De La Hoya started, going on pay-per-view, or I don't remember the child.
The who? You froze up here, D.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, got you. Go now. You remember who?
No, just in general, I'm just a firm believer that for you to enter the pay-per-view market, you need to fight somebody that's established and, there. You know what I mean? Just personally, like 2 guys on their first pay-per-view ever have, if you look back, have never done good numbers,
right.
For the most part. You always need that one guy. So, no, I think this is a Showtime fight, Showtime Championship Boxing or on Fox Sports or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a pay-per-view fight. Can Leo withstand the punching power of Tank Davis? Look, if Tank Davis lands flush on anybody, he could hurt anybody. Right?
Right.
So can he withstand it a lot? No. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't get hit that much. As far as the workmanship of Leo, look, if Tank can't take out Leo in the first 4 or 5 rounds, in my opinion, it's going to be a long night for Tank, in my opinion. A long night. And especially, and let me just tell you right now, if Tank Davis shows up in the same shape he showed up against Gamboa, he's losing that fight. He's going to have to come in shape to fight Leo, because that's going to be a lot of work, bro. He's going to put him to work, right? Like the landscapers outside. It's going to make him work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Here's the thing with Leo Santa Cruz. Is he tailor-made for Gervonta Davis? Yes. But is Gervonta Davis tailor-made for Leo Santa Cruz? Yes. This is why it makes sense for these 2 guys to mix it up. I know Adner Morris wanted a piece of Gervonta Davis. I thought that fight was probably going to go ahead before Leo Santa Cruz was brought into the picture. But if you look at both guys, Leo's a lot bigger than Abner Morris. And Gervonta Davis is not the biggest dude in the world as well. But frame-wise, he's a much wider guy. But Leo, too, he's got broad shoulders for a smaller guy. Very broad shoulders.
Yeah.
My thing is that what I like about Leo Santa Cruz's style is he's very consistent, and he's like a lawnmower. He is like a lawnmower. He just keeps buzzing away. He keeps going and going and going and going. Where Gervonta Davis, guys that he's fought, even like when he fought Yorikis Gamboa, where he's having troubles with, he's not a buzzsaw like a Leo. So the pressure is what I'm looking at from Leo. Can Leo be consistent? The thing is, though, is you can't allow Gervonta Davis to have that space and have that time to counterpunch and throw a sneaky uppercut, because that's where he's going to catch Leo Santa Cruz, in my opinion, is from underneath the guard of Leo Santa Cruz. I like this fight a whole lot, man. I don't know about, is it pay-per-view worthy? Shit, if this was a year ago, I would say hell no. But right now, since we ain't got no fucking fights happening, bro, hey, give me my wallet. Where's my wallet? boom, there it is. I'll put my money for this fight because I want to see something like that. I think that it sets precedent of a good fight going forward. But I agree with the guy saying, like, what the hell do we have Showtime for? This should be a Showtime event. Absolutely, I agree with you. But I think that what Showtime is looking at is that they rarely are getting good fights at them. I mean, they get good fights, but it's not Gervonta Davis. I mean, they really used them up for that one fight with Yorkis Gamboa, and I think that was a stepping stone for them to see how well the numbers were doing. Is it going to bring out the crowd? And it did. I think that's the next step for Showtime is okay, now let's move them to pay-per-view. That's our game plan with them. Let's move them that way. We test the waters with them on pay-per-view, and the best optional name available would be Leo Santa Cruz, and I think that's a good name for them to test those pay-per-view waters. Is it something we want? Is it something we want to see disappear because of the OTT era? Absolutely right. But as of right now, I give you my money for that fight.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm paying for the fight too.
We're paying for the fight,
bro. Like right now, like I'm, because like you, I was never big on fantasy fights. You know.
Yeah.
Because I dude's never gonna fight. But that's what I'm doing now, and I'm having fun doing it. But I'd rather do fantasy boxing than watch UFC. I mean, that's me. You know what I mean? But I'll take a live action boxing fight right now for sure. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've been waiting for the Zone to put on a card just so I could subscribe to their app again. You know what I mean? I guarantee I'll be the first one to subscribe to the Zone. Ain't nobody gonna beat me to that first spot. As soon as they have a card on, I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean? But as far as that goes, I agree with you. I'll pay for it. But I'm a bloodthirsty boxing fan though.
Bloodthirsty. Now, Nado goes, can Tank? Let me put it up here again on the screen here. Can Tank make 130, or does he pay off Leo Santa Cruz for a few extra pounds of the day for the fight, a la Mayweather Marquez? I think he does. I don't think he makes it, bro. 130. I think it's so hard for Tank Davis to make that weight that I think he's gonna strive to it. But I think during close to maybe let's say 2 months away from the fight or a month away from that fight, I think he's going to say, screw it. Give him what he wants. Give him that money. And I think that it's going to hurt him. Either way, making 130, I don't even think they should even go. If I was Tank Davis's team, I would say no way at 130.
Right.
135. Let's keep it at 135. This is where we moved up to. Let's go there. Leo, you want it? Move up to 135. If you don't want it, don't come here. But I don't see why they would jeopardize starving themselves to make 130 when they've had so much problems, cutting that to that weight. It's more of an advantage for Leo Santa Cruz, in my opinion, because he's going to be withdrawn. His timing reflex will be off. He was off at 135. He couldn't even make 135, Dstyle. Couldn't even make that weight too.
He can, but man, Davis and Neri must have some. I mean, they have this thing in common where they don't take the weight serious for some reason. You know what I mean? And I would like to see him become more disciplined because you ain't going to be fighting an old Gamboa forever. You know what I mean? Like Leo Santa Cruz, and especially like the other guys, Lomachenko, Haney, Teofimo Lopez. Man, you got to come in shape against those guys, bro.
Right. Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get the kid. I don't understand why. I think he may. I think there's a little a bit of things that are going on. I think that Gamboa didn't take serious because everybody was knocking Gamboa out. Okay, Gamboa needs a target. His jaw has never been like the iron chin of like Antonio Margarito or Oscar De La Hoya, even like Miguel Cotto. I mean, Miguel Cotto was getting dropped, but Miguel Cotto on his best days was very difficult to stop, I think that Tank goes, I could take this guy out. I can get past him and then move forward. He was looking at the dollar signs. He wasn't looking at the opponent. But then he questioned about everything else. And if this was a one-time, deal, in my opinion, I would be like, okay, this kid, he had an off night. but he's had more than an off night, more than once in front of our eyes off of his performances and stuff. So it's a big question. How old is the Tank? Oh, Tank is pretty. What? He's like in his mid-20s.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the age. I think mid-20s sounds about right.
G-Funk says he favors Santa Cruz right now. Tank has been disappointing lately. Yep, I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. You know,
I mean, the only reason we're kind of look, Tank has real power and good natural ability. That's the only reason, we take him serious as a prize fighter when we talk about matchups, right?
Right.
If Tank didn't have natural power, natural ability, and had this discipline, we wouldn't even know who Tank Davis is. All right, that's just the reality.
I mean, he does. He's got natural power. He's fun to watch. There's no question about that. He's absolutely fun to watch. I like to watch the kid. I'd like to see him get a bit serious. Right now, I think I got to agree with everybody. I think that if he doesn't take Santa Cruz serious and he doesn't find a solution to his weight problem, weight issue, there's a strong possibility that Santa Cruz just gives him a beating. I don't know if he stops him. Santa Cruz has never kind of shown that he's one of those guys that he's kind of like he reminds me of Giovanni Seguro, but without the power. But a much
something like that, yeah.
Much better boxer than Giovanni.
Better boxer, without the power, definitely.
Yeah, right? I mean, who else?
But because Tank has that power, that's why I can't even tell you for sure who's going to win. You know what I mean? But I got to be honest, bro. I got to wait on the weigh-in. I got to see the weigh-in and assess it from there. See how Tank looks and how
he struggled. Did he struggle with it? Was this a better camp? Like, what was he doing? And if he does make it well, if he does, if he doesn't struggle, what were you doing? What was it that you were doing that was bad before? Does that tell us how? Does that tell us he's an Andy Ruiz at 135? Is he the Andy Ruiz at 135?
If these problems continue, Neri might give him a run for his money for that title, but if these problems continue, yes. You know what I mean? We would have to say so.
All right, man. Let's go to our last thing here. Let's see. Let's put it up here really quick here. I was talking to Dstyle, and I was like, hey, man, who do you think gets knocked out before this year ends? Because it looks like boxing is going to come back in June. Top Rank and, even like Golden Boy, they've been flirting with it. Top Rank definitely have said that they're going to bring boxing. They're just not sure where they're going to post, where they're going to, post it at. Is it going to be at Reno, Vegas? More likely it's going to start probably being Reno. Reno is going to be more accepting of doing something. But yet again, Vegas is opening up casinos. The floors are open and people are starting to filter through and stuff like that. You're starting to see businesses slowly just kind of reviving, getting back up on the scene and stuff. So
yeah.
I asked Dstyle, give me a list, give me your names. Who do you think gets knocked out before the end of the year? And I wanted to make it interesting, dude. I was like, should we put a bet? Should we bet or something? If anybody wants to put a bet, and if you get it right, I tell you what, I got all these custom pictures that have been taken by photographers from ringside. Okay? And I don't know if you can see that.
See that? There you go. Yeah.
And these are all from ringside. These are not from magazines. These are from photographers that sent me this. And I never did anything with them. And I got a bunch of them, man. They're going to fall in my hand. Look right here. Oh,
HolyField.
Oh, shit. We got Fernando Vargas. He could tell us what happened. Hey, man, he pushed me down those hills, man. So we got that.
That's
Remember the snake? The snake without Rodriguez?
Man. Okay, yeah.
Costa. Let me see what this one. That one.
Great stuff, bro.
Look at that.
It's really good stuff.
Right there. So I want to let's do a bet here, dude. This one I can't give you guys, man, because this is my idol right here. but I can't give it. I just wanted to show you guys. There's Salvador Sanchez with Danny Little Red Lopez.
Oh,
That's
okay.
mine right there. I couldn't give that one up. But I got like Roy Jones.
I'll take that one. No.
You want the Roy Jones?
No, Salvador Sanchez one.
So I'm thinking.
Yeah, there you go, man. I must have forgot.
I'm thinking. Okay, put a name. Give me a name. Who you think is going to get knocked out? Should we make it hard, or we should just do a name, like just base like name? If they get that name right, but I might end up being too many goddamn people. I think you got to give me a name and the round that you think that person gets knocked out. What do you think?
Sure.
I think that's.
Well, I'll give you a name. So I think that Pulev is not going to Pulev out of the fight this time. He's going to actually get in the ring with AJ. I think that fight's going to happen, and I think AJ is going to knock him out. But, you know,
so
I don't know if anybody in chat wants to give a round.
You're saying. You got Pulev getting knocked out.
Oh, yeah. Pulev's getting knocked out by the end of the year for sure. I would say AJ, but I don't think he's going to fight again after actually, I don't know. If he fights Pulev, he might fight again. And I think Joshua might go to sleep again.
But against who, though?
I don't know.
Tyson Fury?
Man, he's been talking about fighting Fury, right? If he fights Fury, I think he might go to sleep.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one, man. I don't know. Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury's got Deontay Wilder's number, though. I was telling you that, remember? I was like, I don't know. I think if they fight again, and if it happens, if that step aside money doesn't work out for Deontay Wilder to step aside for Tyson Fury and AJ to go at it, and they, Wilder's like, no, fuck that. Give me my money. Let's make this fight because I want to redeem myself. I want to redeem myself for myself and for the ring walk attire. I think that Tyson gets Deontay Wilder out of there again. I think that right hand, they have figured out the Kronk right hand is got a target on Deontay Wilder's chin. Chicano Prophet and Nopal saying that Triple G. They think Triple G gets knocked out before the year ends.
Okay. Look, here's what I'll say. While I understand that Tyson Fury stopped Wilder, and he may have gotten there, whether it was one or two more rounds, he hurt Wilder very early in that fight, and it took him, even though Wilder, he was off balance, he wasn't all there, his equilibrium obviously looked off to me, and he still couldn't take him out. You know what I mean? Like he was putting a beating on him, but he couldn't take him out of there. So I don't see him doing like a one-hitter quitter on him. It's going to have to be sustained. And unless the same scenario happens where he hurts him early, I don't think he might win a decision, but I don't think he knocks out Wilder again. That's. But if anybody thinks he will, they could give us a round.
Okay, so far we got AJ, Deontay Wilder, Gennady Golovkin. You think Gennady Golovkin gets knocked out by Canelo? The rubber match, if that happens, they're talking about September. If not September, it'll probably be December.
Actually, I do. I think Canelo stops.
What round? What round do you guys got?
Late. I think around 10, around 11.
Damn. If I had to give a round, I would go. Fucking Chicano Prophet took it already, bro. Round 9. He got it out before I could. Round 9, yeah. Round 9, dude. That's a good round right there. Yeah. That's a good round. I think that's enough work for Canelo to get to soften up the body so that the head follows with Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah.
I just don't think Gennady. I don't think that Gennady's done yet. In my opinion, I know everybody thinks that Gennady's done. Nopal got 7. Woo, that's a brave one right there. So this is what we're gonna do. Give me the name of your fighter, and we'll keep this up every week. We'll bring up the names of whoever you guys think is gonna get knocked out. By the end of the year, and then pick the round. And then by the end of the year, you know, I'll make sure that we got a good enough prize. And if 2 or 3 fights happen, let's say those 3 fighters, 3 fighters that you pick get knocked out, you know, however it works and all that, you're still going to get something. Don't worry about it. You know, a picture and something else. I'll figure something else out that we can send out. I don't know, Dstyle T-shirt, Leaving the Ring T-shirt, along with that. I tell you what, this is a great. How about my landscaper? I send you my landscaper to your house to cut your lawn.
It's a Dstyle T-shirt or a landscaper, and I need my landscaping done.
G-Funk, we'll send G-Funk over there. We'll send G-Funk over there to cut your grass.
She'll cut the grass.
A picture here, and G-Funk to come down to your pad to cut your grass.
Well, we'll put on a Dstyle T-shirt on G-Funk, and he'll cut the grass with. You know what I mean? Let's get the whole thing. Look, man, I think Burchell can knock out Oscar Valdez to do that fight.
Huh.
It was happened already, but
that's another one. Lomachenko round 7 for Nato. For what?
Oh,
against Teofimo Lopez, you think he knocks him out, or Lomachenko gets knocked out?
I think if Lomachenko wins, I honestly believe it's a wide decision or something like that.
Yeah.
I think Teofimo Lopez's power is real. He showed me that with the Comey fight, and he's done it more than once against other fighters, bro. He might knock out Lomachenko, bro. I know all the Lomachenko aren't going to like hearing that, but
he's got a strong possibility. What we saw him do, you know, I mean, Teofimo Lopez, I mean, the guy's got real power. The only thing I see, this is what I think. I think if Teofimo Lopez doesn't catch Vasily Lomachenko early, it's going to be a Lomachenko night. I'm giving Lopez 6 rounds. He's got round 1 and round 6 to get him out of there. If he doesn't do it, because Lomachenko seems to turn it on after that 6th round, the 7th round. It's like, you know, he watches everything, and then he ends up studying you, and then he aces a test. That's what we've seen. He did it with Jorge Linares, you know. When he turned it on, when he turned it up, dude, it was like a different beast in there, you know. So that's a very interesting fight there. So who do you got for that fight again? You think Lomachenko, or you think Teofimo Lopez wins that by knockout?
I'm favoring Lomachenko to win by decision, but it's possible. Definitely, it's possible that Teofimo Lopez could spark him and chop him out.
God, that would be great. You know how much big? Okay, here's another bit. How much bigger does right now? I mean, Teofimo Lopez's head's pretty big on his shoulders and stuff. How many more inches do you think it grows if he knocks out Lomachenko?
Yeah, a lot. I don't know how many, but a lot. I think it's. I'm telling you, bro, that would be huge for Teofimo Lopez. A lot of fans out of Honduras for him too, man. He's really popular over there. I did some live calls of his fights, you know, with some on my channel, and bunch of, I'm talking hundreds of people from Honduras just listening because they didn't have a way to watch the fights. Wow. Whoever has television rights in Honduras needs to get it. They want to watch him fight. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be. I think. Like G-Funk right now, if he catches Lomo, he puts him to sleep. But I don't know.
Do you agree it has to happen early, though?
Lomo's got a solid chin, man. You know?
Well, I'll tell you, it has to happen early.
It has.
Because like first 3 rounds, that's his window. After that, it's a wrap.
But also, too, history has shown it with Lomachenko. When you drop him, you hurt him, he comes back. He's like an Eric Morales. He wants to get you back. You know, you kind of like hurt his ego. How about this fight here? Jorge Linares versus Ryan
Garcia?
Yeah.
Oh, Linares going to sleep, bro. That's a good one. He's going to sleep. Like, dude, Ryan Garcia has a quick, first snap, like that first punch, like boom, like it's quick, bro. And he has quick hands, and Linares is getting sparked, bro. I like Linares, but he's getting stopped in that fight.
I think you know what I think. I think that Linares is gonna school the shit out of Ryan Garcia. But dude, I think you're right. I think that as soon as that kid lands left or right, that's it. That's it. Linares is going to be all over the place and stuff, you know. AJ, I don't think you're the only one. I think that Lomachenko, I think because there's two sides of Lomachenko, you know. I think Vasily comes out first, then Lomachenko comes out second in his fights. So I'm just curious that if Teofimo Lopez, does he catch him? Does it catch him early? Now, remember, guys, if you want to get this bet in, if you guys want to participate in this bet here, you got to email me at Leave It in Ring. Give me the fights that you think, the fighters that you think are going to get knocked out by the end of the year. Give me the round. Got to get that round in, and then you'll get your prize at the end of the year. It's got to end at December 31st. That should be, December 31st.
Look, if I was one of you guys, I would do either Pulev, because I think he's going to sleep against Joshua, or Linares, but that's me. You know what I mean? I think those are the most for sure ones.
But those are for sure ones, though. Let's scratch that one out.
Okay.
Let's scratch out the Pulev one. Well, no, we can't.
Oscar Valdez.
No, we can't. You know why? Because AJ could get knocked out in that fight too. Because honestly, when he fought Ruiz, he didn't look that great. What did we see there that showed that AJ is that confident with that chin sticking out there? And now, how confident are we that AJ is going to go after Pulev and stand his ground, knowing in the back of the head that he's been dropped and laid out?
Right. I hear that. I mean, here's a knockout many people aren't saying. I think this fight's going to happen. Oscar Valdez against Miguel Berchelt. I think Berchelt stops him. I think he stops him in that fight. I believe in Berchelt's power. Great fighter, by the way. And while I think Valdez, has a future still, you can't win every fight, though. I think Berchelt might be a little too much for him right now. I think he stops him.
Okay, so if we got an overwhelming amount of people that are picking the same fights, I think we should go with the first, what? I don't know. You know what? We got to play it out. Let's see how it goes. Let's go off with the end of this month. I mean, I think everybody's going to have different picks of what they're going to think, But you got to get the round. That's the one thing. You got to get that. So if you're picking Pulev to be knocked out, you got to pick that round, and you got to be on point on that round. If you're picking Linares to lose to get knocked out, you got to pick that round. You got to get that round. So I think that's where we're going to end up, making it fair for everybody, So if you think Gennady Golovkin's going to lose, get knocked out, then pick that round, and by the end of the year,
sure,
we'll definitely find out. Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. If you got to pick who you think is going to get stopped in that fight, send it in. Put that in there.
Good pick, man. You guys got to get the hat trick: the winner, the knockout, and the round.
That's it. Yeah. I'd love to put money on that, man. I think, God, I'd like to see Linares knock out Ryan Garcia. I got to tell you the truth, man. I like Ryan. I think Ryan's good for the sport, but I just can't stand how he's so upright with his stance. He's like,
right.
His chin is so inviting. You know what I mean? I even want to punch it when I watch him. I'm like, you know what I mean? You ever get those?
Yeah.
They're like, look at this guy, man. Dude, cover your chin. The kid doesn't do it.
It's gonna take someone to crack him, bro. He might have to get knocked out to learn. You know what I mean? It might be better for the long run, but he may have to, learn the hard way. Maybe Linares knocks him out. I don't know.
I think Linares can do that, though. I think Linares can surprise Ryan Garcia. I mean, who's the better fighter? I mean, take out the power, because Linares has got good power too. Got great hand speed. Ryan is probably a couple notches above Linares right now in hand speed, but the better classic boxer, it's got to go hands down for Linares.
Yeah, Linares is, look, man, Linares, it just turned out that his chin is shaky. Yeah, that's my main issue with him, and just cuts easy. You know what I mean? Those are the two main issues I have with Linares. But when Dudu was a prospect, bro, everyone knew the skills. I mean, he's a very skilled fighter.
Very.
And it's just that, when the dude's a prospect, you don't know a lot about, their, punch resistance, how good is your chin, how easy do they cut, and you don't really know that until you see it happening. But speaking of that, you never know, man. Ryan Garcia may be that kid that everybody says, man, remember when everybody was high on Ryan and then Linares knocked him out? Like, you never know. He might be that kid.
Is he our Oscar De La Hoya? Am I that Theo? Am I that uncle that hated on Ryan Garcia? You know what I mean? I'm not sure. Like I said, I like Ryan. I wasn't a fan. I'll admit it. I was not a fan. I mean, people know that tuned in and listened to the ring for years. I was not a fan of the kid. AJ put, Brian is the next Amir Khan. That's a strong possibility.
Nando Yama said, Ryan is Amir Khanish. I never heard that before, but it's cool.
That's a great assessment right there, AJ. AJ 10. That is bro. That's the perfect way of describing. At this moment, we don't know how Ryan Garcia's chin is. And I think that we're going to find out with Jorge Linares. If Jorge Linares was able to really, I mean, he was outboxing Vasily Lomachenko and even got dropped him. And was winning the fight until he got turned around when
body shot.
Yeah, when Lomachenko decided to step it up, play catch up with Jorge Linares. So two things that come to mind, right? The two questions that go in for me to ask about this fight happening is, did Lomachenko take out the remainder, what's left of Jorge Linares? And does Jorge Linares this time go out there, feel like the more accomplished, confident fighter than Ryan Garcia? And does he allow Ryan Garcia to beat Ryan Garcia in there on the fight night? Very, very interesting fight, man. I think that Jorge Linares puts Ryan Garcia in some trouble. I think he rocks him before Linares gets knocked out.
Yeah, man. I just think it comes down to that chin. I'm not confident in Linares' chin, and Ryan, strikes so fast, bro, and it's with power, and it's gonna land at some point, and it's gonna knock out Linares. But hopefully, Linares could do enough in that fight to show Ryan I have a lot to work on. You know what I mean? It's that's the key. Hopefully, because knockouts and shout out to Dwyer from YouTube. He's always said this, and it's his line. He says, knockouts give people amnesia, right? Including fighters. And guy, we have a whole fight. We have all this data. Guy knocks the other guy out. Everyone forgets the trouble that fighter had that whole fight. Yeah. They just remember the knockout. Even the fighter's like, hey, I got it done. Okay, I set him up, or whatever they want to say. But you still have to think about all the trouble you had. And I think the best fighters assess themselves, even when they win, and can see, what, those rounds I lost, I got to work on that, because the knockout's not always going to bail me out. I'm going to run into that guy that I'm going to crack, and I'm not going to knock out. And what am I going to do then? So that's the important thing. So it's a good fight for Ryan. It's a dangerous fight because you never know. I'm favoring Ryan because of the power, though, and hopefully it's a fight he could learn from.
Yeah, I think we got some good names out there right now about who we think is going to get knocked out by the end of the year. Guys, like I said, send your picks in to Leave It in the Ring. Give me the name, give me the round, and we'll work something where the winners and all that. And most definitely, I know what's going to be in the package is going to be G-Funk coming to your house and cutting that grass, because if that's one thing that G-Funk's know how to do is keep the grass green.
Right.
Really quick, man, to make some quick announcements.
And G-Funk doesn't use the one that you do. Boom, boom. It's not that one, bro. He does the push one, bro. You know what I mean?
He told me he does the one with what he just gets scissors, eh?
Oh shit! He's just that's super Mexican right there.
And he
Back
gets,
in the day,
and then
right?
Mad Dog screams at all the leaves and all that, and they just like pile themselves up and stuff so they can be raked up and put into the recycling bin and stuff. That's what he told me. I've yet seen to believe it, but he's not that far from me. He's in Sacramento. I'm over here in Riverbank, California. Real
I
quick,
believe.
man, be sure to go down to Dstyle's channel if you haven't yet. Subscribe to him. He's got some great shows every week. A lot of content that Dstyle dishes out here for the YouTube audience. Great stuff, man. I always have a chance. Fantasy stuff. I'm not a fantasy matchup guy, but I gotta tell you, dude, you're doing a great job in how you're doing it. You even get me arguing because I don't get to catch it all the time live. And sometimes some of your guys, which you got a great panel. I'll argue with them like, how the fuck are you gonna pick this dude over this dude or that dude? But it's just that's what good boxing content is all about. It's to sit there and
It gets heated.
Yeah.
They almost get in a fight. It's a good thing we're virtual, we're not in person. But
yeah,
dude, I remember days when people get in fights at bars, arguing boxing. but yeah, it's interesting. We do a tournament. Gonna take a break because it's a lot of work. Because the way I do it, I have people select the names. They draft out the matchups. I don't do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it's just the whole process. It's 32 fighters in total. So. Right. And a lot of breakdowns, but the one main thing though, and what I realized is that fantasy matchups, in all honesty, a lot of people learn, a lot of young boxing fans learn a lot about these fighters.
Right.
They just learn a lot about them. And I had a lot of people say, man, I learned a lot about fighters today. I learned things about. I only knew Hagler as a dude that Leonard moved up to beat. But that's all you knew Hagler for. But yeah, there's a lot of people like that. You know what I mean? And also, I think, and they're still out there. There's a lot of people think Roy Jones was unbeatable, and they were in shock when he was eliminated in the middleweight tournament. But we broke it down. Some agreed, some disagreed. But I think it opened some eyes that this is a sport with a lot of history, a lot of great fighters. And we'll never know who would win because they're not going to fight each other.
What makes it fun, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that there are. If you look at every corner and aspect of that fighter, the flaws and what made them great,
and
you make comparisons, like for instance, like Salvador Sanchez to me was the epitome of Mexican fighters. But if you brought up another fighter, of any era, and you did comparisons of like times of when this person fought this guy or that guy. What the other opponent brought to the table, could Salvador, like the flaws, I could easily go, okay, I can see your case. But, I'm an old head, so I'm always going to stick up for Salvador Sanchez. I'm going to be like, well, because even like my older brother, bro, we've gotten like in each other's faces because he's a Julio Cesar Chavez guy. And he's like, how could you pick Salvador Sanchez over Julio, blah, blah, blah. And then when you start throwing out like the opponents, it's just that's what makes the beauty, though. Yeah. If you can make a great debate and discussion, and then have open ears to listen to the other guys, valid points of their fighter or who they're talking about. So yeah, it's really entertaining. I really liked it, man. I've enjoyed your fantasy fights and stuff. So there's a couple shows that I got going. The Stack Up. I did one show with the guy from Fight Hub. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. It's called The Stack Up. And it's kind of like the same thing, except for yours is like a bracket. Mine is just making, it's like how does this fighter stack up to the current fighters of today, which I'm going to do again. I got another set of names that I want to work on. Also, the Chronics of Leaving in the Ring. It's just me going back of old interviews I've done. Of fighters before they were famous or before they were household names, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Go check that out if you haven't. And then I am now doing a podcast, which is called Gloves Down, Beers Up, which is basically what I mean is I'm not going to talk boxing. I'm actually going to talk with other people of some interest that I have, like either they're in the music business, outside of the boxing realm, it's just stuff of my interest, what I find kind of interesting, and then wherever the conversation goes and stuff. So if you haven't had a chance, I just did one interview, the first episode of Gloves Down, Beers Up with Vicento Boss, Nicaraguensian reggaeton recording artist who grew up in Nicaragua. At the age of 5, this guy was carrying an AR. He moved to Brooklyn. Saw his uncle get shot at a phone booth in Brooklyn. That's why his parents moved him to San Jose, California. It's a really good episode. We get into a lot of stuff. We talk about Tekashi 69, things like that. And then, like always, we're always going to continue coming on doing and leaving the ring. I want to thank Dstyle, man, for you, brother, because I've been wanting to, our schedule always conflicts. I hope we can do this on a regular basis between me and you, doing the show, in other shows, because, man, I had a really great time with you, bro, having you on the ring. I think the listeners as well. I think we did a great job together and brought some great content tonight.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And as of right now, I don't have a set schedule per se because of quarantine. This whole thing is messing everybody up. But usually I do shows from Mondays to Fridays, Mondays to Thursdays, I should say, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Hispanics Causing Panics on Wednesdays is back, though. And we hope to have you on there, Dave. This should be a good show.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Again, guys, before we go, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and make sure you hit that bell so you're notified every time we go live here on Leaving the Ring. Don't forget to go to Dstyle's channel, do this exact same thing. Keep supporting us, man. Us channels that are doing YouTube. We've been doing YouTube for a very long time. Appreciate it anytime you guys come through. You got anything else to add there, Dstyle?
Nah, man, just a great show. Thank you again for having me on. Shout out to everyone involved with Leave It in the Ring, and shout out to all boxing fans out there, man.
Absolutely. Don't forget, you got Johnny Zig that does Effortless Talk Fights. Johnny does a variety of different interviews, and he covers UFC, covers music. You also got Evan Rokowski, who does aficionados. He does the behind-the-scenes business of boxing. And then you got Boxing Esquire, which is a full interviews with people that are in the business. Again, guys, have a great night. Enjoy your guys' whole
I don't know.
week. I don't
know about that UFC stuff, but everything else sounded great.
I know, man.
I'm just kidding.
I know, brother. Again, everybody have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dave Duenez, 97 Rough, and Dstyle on Leaving the Ring.
Peace.